Welcome, Black Cajun Sports Talk Show. This is the first in a series that I really was looking forward to putting together. And the series is really basically all about the perspective of parents. So I'm running around the city. I'm trying to find parents that I think would have something valuable to add to the community, something that people can grab onto and take something away from. So my first stop is, I said, you know what? I need to go meet the Browns. So I'm here with the Browns. Mr. Charles Brown Sr. and his lovely wife, Mrs. Danielle Brown. How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Doing well. Yes.
Awesome.
What I want to do, I want to work backwards. So I'm going to start with today. Mr. Brown, you were at the gym, right?
Yes.
Anything going on at the gym at practice?
Well, today,
Today.
I had a couple of visitors at the gym, but it's they working hard. You know,
Now, you're not going to skip over it. Who were the visitors? Who were the visitors?
a representative of Atlanta Hawks.
And were there visitors before, last week or the week before? Have there been other visitors?
Yes, it's been Monday was the Sixers on Monday.
That's when I said I want to start backwards. I'm starting from the point where we have a bona fide NBA prospect that was raised in this home that I'm sitting in right now, and he's playing up on City Line Avenue. Now, a couple months back, I was out to lunch with these people, and the mom, me and dad was talking, NBA this, maybe. Mom, like, why are we even talking about this? I don't know. Aren't we like jumping way ahead? And me and the dad was like, nah, we think it's about time. So, Ms. Brown, when they tell you today that the Atlanta Hawks and the Sixers and all of them are hanging around, do you understand why you needed to start thinking about this stuff a little bit now?
I do now.
You do now?
I do now.
So now, since we established that as where we are today, we have a bona fide NBA prospect. I want you guys to go all the way back to your decision when you chose his high school initially. So you had an 8th grader that wanted to play basketball.
Yes.
And you guys lived in Philadelphia.
Right.
So talk me through that. How did you do it? Where did you end up going? How did it work out?
Well, he went to elementary school named Imani. Mm-hmm. And Imani, once you graduate from Imani, you automatically go to Imhotep.
Okay.
So I told him, if you're not being recruited, you're not going to really get a chance to play. So he said, Dad, I can play. I said, okay, we're going to give you a chance to play to see if you can play. But they put him on JV. And he did very well.
As a freshman.
As a freshman, 9th grader.
Mm-hmm.
But, they wasn't really working him out. So I said, 10th grade, he was on JV again.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, man, I think you need to think about transferring. So we used to leave Imhotep and went to a school right down off of Shelton Avenue. On the corner. I forgot the name of the high school now. Mm-hmm. But we went there every night to work out because we was looking for a high school. So that didn't work out because the coach there was cussing at the kids, so we didn't like that. Mm-hmm. So then we went to Northeast High School.
But wait. 2 years on JV?
Yeah. 2 years on JV.
Did he get frustrated? Did you get frustrated? Did you thought?
Well, I got frustrated when I seen that they had workouts and he was sitting on the bench and they had 8th graders working out with them.
And he got frustrated.
Yeah,
too,
and he started.
he knew he could play.
Yeah, he started. He did the thing about the 8th graders that he was seeing that he was better than, that he could play with, and they was getting more time because they was trying to recruit these kids.
Okay.
So when I approached the coach, I was like, well, how you gonna have my player that I coach out there and my son sitting on the bench? Well, I didn't bring him. I said, but you the coach. I said, you have to give everybody a chance to work out and play so you can see. So
I admire your patience because I know kids in the middle of 9th grade year, if they're not playing, they will pull up and leave a school.
No.
I've seen that. And you guys gave it 24 months. You hung in there
Well,
for 2 whole years.
Yeah, because I'm not going to allow him to leave in the middle of school. No,
Okay.
I'm just not going to allow that. He had to finish what he started, and then we decide where we want to go.
So he never played a varsity game at Imhotep Charter High School.
Not at all.
So he transfers. So why George Washington?
A friend of his went to George Washington. A real close friend of his went to George Washington, and we were looking for somewhere for him to go. Like my husband said, like Charles said, we went to the Northeast and
Northeast High School.
And there was a coach there that was expecting Charles to come.
Yeah.
Right. We couldn't. The coach wasn't there at the time that we went there, and then they said that we weren't in the right. The area, the zip code or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, we couldn't send him there. So a close friend of his, just casually said, why don't y'all send him to, why don't he go to George Washington? Mm-hmm. And then that's when we thought, okay, well, let's see what's going on at George Washington. And that's when we went up there and we got the ball rolling.
Actually,
George Washington.
the principal, they wanted me to sign my son over to my aunt. And I wasn't doing
To
it.
go to Northeast.
To go to George Washington.
That's not your feeder zone either?
No, it's not.
It fails.
Okay.
And it wasn't going there.
Right.
Okay.
So I talked to the principal. Principal was a player that I think he went to Duke or North Carolina, one of the two. He went to one of the schools, and he asked me, what do I want? I said, I want my son to have a good education and a chance to play basketball. And he just told me what I needed to do, and that's how we got in, without putting my aunt involved with that. So, but one thing that I can say, I give Brother Andre props because of the fact that he showed me that my son wasn't ready. And so when people say, man, Brother Andre messed up, I said, no, he the one that got me to get my son right. So I give him all the props because of the fact that if it wasn't for him telling me or showing me that my son wasn't ready, who knows what y'all would have been. I'll be thinking that he'd be thinking that, well, we good enough.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ever have to put that work in, but we put a lot of work in.
So how did the basketball work out at George Washington that first year?
First year.
No,
Oh, okay. The first year worked out all right. Worked out okay because they had seniors on the team already, and he was trying to establish himself.
Did he start?
Yeah, he started. He was they played a 1-2-2 or 1-3-1, one of the two, and he played up top. And but the seniors wanted to do their thing because that was their last year. Mm-hmm. So he only averaged maybe like 12, 14 points. But he did okay. Coaches understood what kind of player they had, and they allowed him to have a lot of range.
So at this point, Charlie has played 2 years of JV,
Right.
1 year of varsity at George Washington, where he was a starter, but he wasn't the guy.
Right.
And he's going into his senior year. What were your thoughts as far as him being a scholarship player or him attracting the attention of college coaches? Was he on that track? Were there anybody asking about him or checking him out at that point?
At that point, no. Once he got into his senior year, played. Let's go back. When Morrow introduced himself, Philly Pride, and he told me that I had to, allow people to see him, because he was playing with a AAU team named the Ball Hawks down South Philly, and they just basically was around the area, kind of. Yeah. So Amaro came up to me and was like, we would like for your son to play on our team. Mm-hmm. So he said that the coaches be able to see him, he can travel and stuff like that. And I was
Very true.
And we was kind of leery about that because my son never really was away from us. Mm-hmm. But then I thought about, he needs that opportunity to see what he can do. So once he got on Philly Pride, of course, they had other people like Chris Clover. They had other guys on there, so he had to find his way with that.
Fight in there again.
And he fought again.
How did he do that sprint?
He did okay. He came off the bench, so and they wasn't. He was kind of skittish a little bit, because of the fact that they had
the level of competition.
Yeah, he wasn't used to.
Step up.
Yeah, he wasn't used to it. But then the next year that he played, that's when he started coming into his own.
Now, is that when you was ready to sign your son up for Westchester, man?
Well, why you gonna bring that up? Hold up.
Is that when you was ready to sign that paper to go to Westchester?
That was
Damian Blair had you. He had you.
that was when he went to a event that with Josh was having, and first it was Coach Watts, big dude, was walking around. First I had Terrell following him around, and that was a guy that played on Philly Pride as well. Then the assistant coach came looking, and then I was trying to figure out who this bald head dude, because every time I turned around, he right there. That was Blair. So at the end of the tournament, Coach Watts came up and said, "We were kind of interested in your son." And he didn't get no offer. He didn't have no offers, and I was looking for my son to have a free education. That's all my worry was, So we came back the next week, and he offered him. He was like the first guy on the board. And he offered him a scholarship. Well, he offered him what they could offer him. And Charles didn't really, he just sat back and just looked at, like he looked sad. Cause I was like, okay. I said, okay. So Blair, Coach Blair was like, do you think you're a Division I player? And he said, yeah. He said, well, if you don't get no Division I scholarships or offers,
I'm here for you.
Yeah, he said, would Westchester be the first option? He said, yeah. So he blew up that summer, and it was a done deal.
So who was the first Division I school to really come around and tell you they had a strong interest in you, kid?
Actually, the second team that they're gonna play this year, Monmouth. He went up there and played, had a scrimmage, and coach from Frankfurt had a big boy named Bama, if you remember him, the big African dude. He wanted to take him up there, but he wanted us to ride. So they was playing 5-on-5. The starters was playing against the rest of the guys. So Charles went out there and started kicking butt. So Sam Ferry, I think his name.
Sam Ferry.
Yeah, he was the one that initiated it. And then I seen the head coach. His name is
King Rice.
King Rice. And he sat next to me. He said, "Well, we interested in your son." I said, "Well, your coach over there said y'all only looking for big men." He said, "Well, did I say that?" I said, "No." But everybody was the same height, so I was, that's another one. So I was cool with that. Charles loved it because they showed everything. They wanted to
and they have a beautiful campus, beautiful facilities.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
Beach. It's a nice setup.
It's really, 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 really nice. So he really liked that. That was his first visit, and he was like, "Yeah, Dad, I like this here." I said, "Wait a minute now, you're gonna have a lot more to visit." But we didn't know that the only one other than that school would be St. Joe's, and that was the end of it. Coach Arnold did a really good job recruiting because he did step by step, and I think he's just one of the best coaches.
If I remember correctly, though, Charles recruited them. Charles, you guys were in my house, and my wife and one of her friends or somebody said, "Well, do you play?" And he said, "Yes." And they said, "Well, where are you going to school?" And he said, "St. Joe's."
That's right.
He ain't say, "I'm thinking about St. Joe's." He ain't say, "I want to go to." He said, "I'm going to St. Joe's." And I remember that because I had to sneak out, and I got on the phone. I said, "Yo, Charles just committed down here to St. Joe's. Y'all better figure this out on your end." So I know it took Jeff a little while to get Phil to see what we all saw. And so, although he wanted to go to St. Jude's, he did still play that extra year on the circuit.
Right.
And in that April in particular, he might have just missed, 2-3 shots. I mean, he was just shooting it like crazy. So the attention started to really pile on.
Yes.
Some of the bigger schools started to come around, right?
Yeah, bigger schools, yeah.
And what was it about you guys as a family unit that enabled you to, say, "Hey, we're comfortable with what we have. We, a bird in the hand is better than a two in the bush." All too often I see young people, they have something good, but the promise or the hope of something out there makes them hold off. How were you guys able to stay steadfast in your decision?
With St. Joe's?
Yes.
Pretty much the way that Charles had felt about it. All of the games that he had at George Washington, Coach Arnold was always there. Coach Arnold recruited him. He did what he was supposed to do. He He talked to Charles, he talked to us, very personable, knowledgeable. I mean, he wanted Charles. And he came and he, did what he's supposed to do. He did his job. He recruited him. So,
wait a minute. Let me tell you the real truth. She told them he wasn't going nowhere far. Oh, wait a minute. She stand up.
Okay.
She stood over there. She told coaches that he wasn't going to Creighton. That was too far.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
That might have, yeah.
Wisconsin. No, nowhere.
That might have made Charles's mind up a little bit, because I voiced it. I don't want you to go too far, but I don't think.
Why? You didn't think he was ready to be that far away?
I know my son.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think he was ready to be pretty much on his own. And for personal reasons too, I wouldn't have been able to get to him when I needed to get to him, by me being a mother. So I just wasn't comfortable with him going that far.
When he was at St. Thomas More in Connecticut.
So I was going to ask that. Did the bridge year, the prep year, did that help you get a better sense that he was maturing? Because he was. How far was that drive?
3.5, 4 hours.
So he's away.
So he's away, but I can jump in the car and I can get to him when I needed to.
Did he struggle being away from home that year?
No.
That boy had a good time.
No, we didn't struggle at all.
Not at all.
And I think we were pretty much a little apprehensive more than he was, because when we went to visit, we toured the campus, and I asked him. I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "I like it." So that made me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that he would like being here. But he did well. He
academically wise.
Academically, and Charles always said that year there was just excellent for him because he matured. He was able to, do what he needed to do without mom and dad, coaching him or staying on him. Did you do this? Did you that? So, and he loved it. He loved being up there.
And as talented as your son is, he was frail physically as a high school senior. So that year allowed him to, eat, lift weights, come in. So the following year he arrives on City Line Avenue and Phil just throws him out there. And he's able to compete. I mean, Charles was all rookie in the A-10. Were you guys happy with the way he transitioned from prep school to St. Joe's?
Yeah, I think you can see the improvement because we didn't go to every game up at St. Thomas More. And he played against a lot of talented young men.
Played with some talented.
Yeah, and also with some talented. But the thing about it, he always guarded the best guy on the opposite team. And that was my test for him. I wanted to see, because I'm a defensive guy, so I wanted to see did he have the heart, because defense is basically all heart. So once I seen that he can stay with I forget the dude name he in the league now, but he dogged him. Darn, I forgot. He got one of them African funny names. But sorry to say that. But it's just that you it's a stepping stone when you have a child that's playing the game of basketball. From the age of 4, you have to make this level. Then 12, he makes this level. Then on and on. So from the high school to prep school, I wanted to see him on the level of the college level in prep school.
But we talking about a kid played 2 years of JV ball. The only real offer he had senior year was Division II.
Right, Division II and 3.
12 months after that, he started at St. Joe's, averaging 12, 13 points a game. Did he surprise you guys a little bit with what he was able to do, or you just always thought it was there, he needed to bring it out? I mean, because Charles jumped out as a freshman.
We worked hard for a whole summer. And with me down at the park, every time when I get off of work at 7 o'clock, I get off of work 7 o'clock in the morning, get home at 8, we down in the park for 3 hours working, and we did that every day. So it was in him. It's just that he needed to get some competition, to see what he can do with the competition. And once he started playing with me with men, and he can handle stuff, I knew he was ready. It's just that everybody else had to catch up. You know?
Yeah, and it gave him a lot more confidence knowing, like Charles said, it was in him, and his confidence grew because he could see what he knew what he could do on the court, and he was given an opportunity to do it. Starting at St. Joe's.
Phil gonna give you opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially if you shoot.
And he took advantage of that
Yeah.
opportunity. He did well. We were very pleased with his freshman year.
Not the first game though.
Well, the first game. No. I think he was a little nervous on that first game when they sat him down.
But when he got something together, he missed a couple shots, sat down, and then got the ball again and started going.
Yeah.
So how did you maintain his balance off the court? Because it's a lot, to go from a JV player, 10th grade, to a first team all rookie, Big Five, first team all A10 all rookie. How'd you keep his head from just blowing off his shoulders?
Well, we're a humble family, first of all. We believe in the Lord, and that's one of the strong part of our family. And he also believes in the Lord also. So it's basically it's basically following the Lord's word. And as long as you follow the Lord's word, everything is possible. So
I have a question. I know that Phil is a very spiritual and deeply religious man. Did that impact your decision to really trust him? Did that come across while he was recruiting?
I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know. No, it had no bearing on our decision to send him to St. Joe's. We didn't know.
Well, basically, the decision was up to him. He had a list on his closet door. St. Joe's #1. I think it was Kansas State, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, or Creighton, one of the two. But St. Joe's was the last. When he got an offer from Delaware, University of Delaware, where Coach Phil Jr. offered him. That's the next. I think with the next day. That's when Martelli called me and asked me, "What did you think?" I said, "Man, he'd been waiting for this phone call since the beginning, because I was his number one."
What was it about St. Joe's with Chuck?
I think what it is that what he said to me, he said that I wanted to go there and I didn't get the opportunity to go there when I played for Overbrook. I didn't get the offer, so he said that he wanted the family to be at his games, his grandparents could see. And then he said they basically did it because of the fact that I couldn't do it. I think it's a slap in the face. And we're like, he could be like,
well, the Charles Brown name is in the record books.
Yeah, and I think that Coach Arnold had a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Because he loves Coach Arnold. I think he had a lot to do with it. Back to your original question about how we were able to keep Charles humbled. I think he did that a lot on his own as well, because everything that was written about him, anything that was on Facebook, anything Twitter, he never read the articles. He never read anything. Any of the newspaper articles, nothing. He never read it. He never wanted to read it. So I think that also helped him to stay humble, because he wasn't reading what people were saying about him. How good he was, or how this he was, or that he was. He never read anything. We read it.
Yeah.
I got a 2.
Did you communicate it to him?
No.
No. Well.
No. I mean, we would.
I did a little bit. I just telling them, about certain things that people saying. I said, but you have to understand that they singing. I said you have to take the good and the bad, because at one time there was some bad stuff out there for him.
Yes.
And so. If I told him, I said, you have to stay focused and humble, regardless of what people say about you. I said they say a lot of good things about you. I said, but if you read it and you ingest it and then throw it out, it won't be in your head. I said some young guys, it's the wrong thing about some young guys. They read it and they think they've arrived. And it's not good. You know what I mean? So what we did, we always talked to him about it, but we didn't really harp about it all the time, because if you harp about it a lot of times, kids, like you said, kids get big headed, and then they think they the man, and they're not really the man. So like now, people saying a lot of stuff about him now, and he just going with the flow.
I have been, I think, fortunate that you guys have allowed me to become a family friend. So I've gotten to watch him a lot, and when he didn't have basketball last year, he was a fidgety, restless. Yeah. How difficult was it for him to go a year without the game?
Well, I think it was more so with me. You know, it was difficult for me because of the fact that a lot of times at the doctor's office, you know, he did tests and he passed the test, and the doctor still, you know,
wouldn't clear him.
So the doctor asked him, because I was like, well, you should. He's healed. He said, well, I think I want to put another cast on him. I said, well, I don't think it's your decision. He said, well, I don't think it's your decision. Then we're going back and forth and say, well, this is my child. So I said, what you want to do, Charles? And he put another cast on. So I wasn't upset because I was glad about him making his own decision. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it worked out for the best. You know, I'm being just ready for him to be out there and playing. And
the first month or two had to be hard for him.
Charles is the kind of person that, you know, if something happens that he has no control over, he goes with it. Okay. You know, he doesn't stress, he doesn't worry about it.
Well, he could have controlled it if he'd have followed their directions and not played with an injured wrist. Yeah. It would have healed faster.
Yeah. And the doctor saw him, and you know that was unfortunate. Yeah. But you know, he handled it well. He really did. Yeah. You know, I mean, he stayed in the game when he was on the bench. He stayed in the game. Very supportive.
He learned the game of basketball. He learned by sitting there. He learned basketball. You know, a lot of times kids go out there, they think they know how to play the game, and they learn why they go. And when you have to sit there for a whole year and just look, mm-hmm. and I told him, I said, you have to look where your openings are. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're out there, so when the following year when you come, you can attack them openings. So that's what.
And yeah, and one other thing, you know, things happen for a reason. We know that. So there's a reason why he sat out last year. Yeah, so things happen for a reason.
They kind of struggled without his services. You could see the spots where Charles would have made a difference. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to this year, the good part is guys like Funk and them mm-hmm. got to play a lot, mm-hmm. got some experience, and now we're adding Charles to a group that should be, you know, really competitive. What are your expectations for the team and for Charles this year?
Well, for the team, I think they should be able to, if they understand what they have and come together as a team, they can win the A-10. They that good. Mm-hmm. It's just that they have to find their identity and know who are the leaders on the team and understand that that's who they are.
Is your son being more vocal?
He's very vocal now. He's very vocal. He's more aggressive. He's like mean, and I like that because of the fact that he wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. So he's starting to understand that he have to be aggressive to get to where he needs to be. You know. So, but my expectations for Charles is basically I text him every morning, 20, 10, and 5 every morning. You know, and that's what he said that he wanted to average.
20, 10, and 5?
20, 10, and 5. That's what he said he wanted to average. That's what he wanted to do.
I'm going to the draft with y'all. If he get 20, 10, and 5, I'm going to the draft with y'all that night. Them some big numbers.
That's his goal. That's what he said for himself.
And I told him, I said, the only way you can do that, you got to shoot the ball at least 20, 21 times. Mm-hmm. You know, average 20 points. And then you have to be aggressive going to the basket.
Get some fouls.
And then at that, I said, you don't always have to grab defensive rebounds. You can grab the offensive rebounds as well to make it easy. I said, you know, you can get go to the foul line five, 6 times. You know, that's points right there. So, in the sense, I'm not worried about that because he's a pass. He passed first anyway. So
a little bit too much sometimes.
So, Ms. Brown, is it sinking in that, you know, people are talking that this reality? We're right back where we started this dialogue, where, you know, there's him. You got Pascal up at Villanova. He's a senior now. You got Quentin Rose at Temple. People are talking about him. LaSalle, BJ graduated. You know, we'll see if some of the young guys can emerge down there. Penn, I don't think they have anybody.
Yeah, they got the white guy.
He's a good player, but I don't think, you know, guys don't leave early at Penn.
No.
Drexel, they don't really. So your son is going to be really, really talked about, locally when people talk about NBA prospects and all of that. How are you guys dealing with that? Do you have a lot of new friends? You got a lot of new acquaintances? People want to talk to you, meet you?
We've been pretty busy entertaining agents and.
That's good. That's good. You talk, and it's nothing wrong with getting all the information. So, but what I really want people to come away from this with is that here's a kid at 21. He's a bona fide NBA prospect. At 15, 16, he was on JV. Right here in Philly.
Yes, sir.
And he missed a year for an injury.
Yeah.
He had to do a prep year to get himself physically together. Yeah. And here we are. So every road is different. Everybody has to walk their own. So many times people, when it doesn't come easy, when it doesn't come fast, you get frustrated, you give up, you run, you go try something else. I think you guys have a real good story here, and that's why I wanted to get this out to the parents. So if you could say anything to the parent of a kid that's 7th, 8th grade, and all the people are coming around him and they're starting to tell him that he's going to be this and he's going to be that, what would you say to that parent? How should they approach this process?
I would just tell them to keep an open mind, keep him close,
stay the parent.
Stay the parent. Keep him close. We talk to Charles. We always talk to Charles about everything. And we were real with him, but be patient. And it's been an exciting time. And
I'm sure.
It has been, Charles has been out there more than I have, but, I think that, as far as Charles is concerned, he knows where he wants to go. He knows his goal. He knows what he has to do to get there. And just as long as you facilitate that, just like I said, keep him close, but just make sure that he understands the certain things that he needs to do to get there. Studies are first.
Do you have to pull him back sometime? Because I know your son. I know he's a gym rat. He would go and push shots up 8 hours a day if you would let him. Do they have to pull him back sometimes?
We do. He said if he had his choice, he'd put his bed in the gym. But he's always in the gym. You have to rest. You got to rest your mind. You got to rest your body. You have to rest. And sometimes we do got to pull him back because he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he has to do, and he wants to do it now. He wants to be the best now. It's a process. This whole thing is a process. So he's just now just realizing that I got to pull back a little bit. He's got a little his knees bother him a little bit.
Yeah.
His knees bother him a little bit.
Wear and tear is real.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we telling them you're 21, but you cannot push it to the point where your body's in pain. Your body is telling you, rest me. I need rest.
Well, what I can say to a parent is basically because she the one pushed me to start training him way back when. And
how old?
I started him at 4.
He was at 4.
At 4, then
did he love it or you pushed him? At 4?
No, actually, what happened? I pushed my oldest son into basketball. He hated it, so I waited for Charles to ask me, and I explained to him there's gonna be days that you're not gonna want to do it, days that you're gonna hate it.
Has he ever had that day?
Oh yeah, we had plenty of days. I had one day, man, that I told him he couldn't walk next to me. He had to walk behind me because of the fact that he wouldn't listen. It's real. I told him this game is real. When you playing out there, that's when I was playing. And I had him playing with me, and he was like, "Dad, it's only a game." And that's when he said that. I was like, "Wait a minute, no, it's not only a game." But and then once he understood that, that's when he start understanding. And it was days, like I said, we hate each other, but we love each other. Because I was being coach, then off the court I was being dad. So I had to separate that. But telling the parent, they got to keep their circle tight. You have to make sure you get a person that you trust. If it's just a mom or a dad, or if a hope is both, because of the fact that if you have both parents in the house,
they can't drive a wedge.
No, they can't.
Right.
So if it's like a mom always going to get someone that she trusts, maybe the trainer or somebody like that. But you always have to keep a trust. You have to trust your circle, and the circle had to amounts to maybe like 5 good people that have your son's interest, not their interest. You know, and I learned that.
I think what has always struck me in my interactions with you guys is that first and foremost and always your parents. You know, I run into parents and it's a little confusing sometimes. Are you the coach or are you the parent? Are you the cheerleader mom or are you the parent? You know, are you the agent or are you the parent? And I try to tell people, I said, you know, you gotta be the parent.
You gotta stay the parent.
And then if you can look at all the other relationships from that perspective, like I'm the parent. You know, you can get on him a little bit about his playing or whatever, but that's the coach's job.
Yeah.
You know, he gonna need his dad.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that are dads, and they coach and berate the kid to the point where he don't listen to dad no more. I'm like, yo, he not gonna listen. You keep it up. So I want to congratulate you guys, and y'all know how I feel about your son. He's just a fine young man, and they have absolutely embraced him at St. Joseph's. Yeah. He is the epitome of what a St. Joseph's student athlete can experience. I mean, his time there, you go up there, the guys like him. Yeah. The girls, I don't know, Miss Brown, they might like him. I don't know. I think they like him.
That's another interview.
But the teachers like him, the adults like him, you know, the ticket people like him, the ushers like him, and that's a testament to how he was raised. And I want to congratulate you guys, and I thank you for doing this one first parent perspective with me. Well, I will be back here next April, and we'll figure out what's going on then, people. If it's 20, 10, and 5, I'm renting a limo. We going up to the draft. Y'all have a good one.
All's in fear is fear itself. Check out your own backyard before you check out